Welcome back, everybody. Great bounce back coming from Immortals to take the first game in our series. Some really promising stuff coming from the squad as well, I have to say. But as wholesome as a note we started on, we're going to quickly switch things over to our hot takes segment. We ran this last week, getting hot takes from the players, but we're going to switch it up a little bit this week. Okay, guys?
Ooh, okay. All right.
All right. So instead of asking the players of their hot takes, I asked the other talent their hot takes about these two teams, or just kind of academy things as a whole, however they want to interpret things. So this is your opportunity as well with the hot takes to say some words to your co-casters that they can't quite comment on yet. And how the game works.
I like this.
Yeah, it's just a fun discussion.
Okay.
This is where you can speak your mind. And then how it works too, we are going to give it a pepper rating. 1 for mild, 0 if it's really cold, 5 for spicy take, and I'll get you guys to say how we're feeling on the tweet. We all ready?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's send the first hot take that we have. This one is going to be coming from MadMagical, and actually not as hot out of the gate as I would have imagined, but gut reaction. How are we rating this out of 5 peppers?
I think he means this is the third place game in Proving Grounds. Third, fourth. Yeah, third, fourth place games. Like the first loser bracket final. So the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's spicy. That's 4. That's 4. 4.
4?
Yeah, that's
4.
fair.
How about you?
I'm.
That's how.
I mean,
it's
like
spicy.
I just saw them play, and I thought IMT did like even better in that one. But I'm gonna, if it's Proving Grounds, I'm gonna say 4. I would say 3 if it was
4?
like just academy stuff. But okay.
Okay.
I don't know what qualifies as a 5, but this is not happening. This will not be a thing. Neither of these teams top 4 right now.
And when I saw it's MadMagical, I'm just like, yeah, okay, we're gonna get something that is like
It's a
very
3+.
specific, and it is going to be hot.
For MadMagical, this is like a 1. For us,
all right. So we're gonna say 4 peppers then. See, my thing with Magical was saying that this wasn't the spiciest take coming from Magical is I have seen some of the stuff that he said on the In the Lab segments. I've been on a desk with this guy. Like I was expecting something I was expecting something completely out of left field to where this in comparison seemed kind of tame.
Guys, he has TSM and IMT both in top 4. That's hella spicy. That's really spicy.
I think it's pretty good. It's like Magical can always do better, but that's why it doesn't get the 5 out of 5, personally.
All right, great. Going on into our next take. This one coming from Mazel. Going to be the best support by the end of the split. All right, Cubby, how many peppers? I see that look on your face.
That's a 5.
Yeah, after that last game, that's an absolute 5 because that is not happening.
All right, 5 peppers.
If I could put 5 caps instead of 5 peppers, I would prefer to put that. But if we're gonna stick with 5 peppers.
See, when you're in a league that has ports like Ale and stuff too, I feel like that's you have to be absolutely amazingly impressive for me to say that this isn't anything less than a hot take, because what we've seen out of some of these supports has been insane.
I would be surprised if Shanny wasn't the worst support by the end of the split. I think that's the way that's my definition of Shanny. I think he's playing really poorly to start the season. So
I think that's one of the reasons this is such a big one. It's like there's so many other people that would be in the top. Come on, Mazel.
It's all about those improvements, and if you're at the bottom, there's only up from there. So we're only in week 3, day 1, so there's always room for improvement, learning from growth, the good stuff. Okay, now because we kind of went on a little less wholesome note, we're gonna send into a wholesome moment. We actually have a video checking in with Rafa, who is in Singapore, for his hot take.
Huge.
Yeah. What up, Academy talent? So, you wanted to get my hot take right before this TSM Immortals Academy matchup, right? Well, I heard both of them are 1 and 2 in the standings. Or 1-2-2 in the standings, I should say. So they're not doing too hot. However, I heard your boy Soul has the highest KDA out of all top laners in the Elite. And he's going to get up against Vital, who is known as a Yone specialist. So my hot take is, Soul's going to tell Smithy, yo coach, leave the Yone up. I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to take him down in a 1v1 on his best champion, because that's the Chad that Soul is. Let's go, baby.
I like that.
Ooh, okay. That's fun. I would love to see it. Didn't happen last game, but it could.
It got banned. And to be fair, I think TSM were the ones that banned it. So
they
that's
did.
2.
They were red sides. So yeah, it's. I think we could see it shift up. So yeah, I think like maybe not the spiciest.
Soul also known for Yone.
How not spicy? Cubby, you said 2, if I believe.
I could actually see that happening. That'd be really fun. But
I'd say 3 because I don't want to just give it spice because like it's unlikely. I want to give it spice because like it would just be a banger, and that's part of what a hot take is for me. So I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna split the difference.
All right. Well, we'll put it at a 3 because I'm leaning with you on that one. And the way that Rafa phrased it as well, put me in, coach. I'm going to take down as his best champion. I think that's where you get the spicy part of the whole take there. And I have to say, too, Rafa, we miss you. You look like you're having fun, though. And that background looks photoshopped, green screen.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Of course, Rafa's just bawling, but I was expecting like the infinity pool, but I you know, that one's pretty cool too. So good stuff out there, Rafa.
All right, well, bringing it back to talent that we have had to deal with every week, we have Oshi's hot take. Instinct more deserving to be an LCS starter than Arrow. I mean, considering the game that we just saw, Arrow's doing some pretty good things, so I think this is kind of spacey right after what we just saw.
So we obviously get these before the game that just happened.
Yeah.
That gets 3 peppers and a half a cap from me. So, yeah.
All right.
We're going to get the cap meter going on next week.
Honestly, I want to get like, okay, first of all, like there's such an experience gap between these two. Yes, Arrow's been playing bad, and I've been harping on him a little bit. This game, he played so good.
Yeah.
I think there's
how
always
many
that
peppers?
there.
Your gut take, and then we'll get into why.
It's 4 peppers because there's no way that's true.
I'm gonna lean also on the 4. I'm sorry, Cubby, that I'm not siding with you, but after that game, how could I not vote that way, right?
Yep.
And Pirate, now we can go into your explanation why, not to cut you off.
No, you're right. I did the wrong order. We get the benefit of hindsight. Obviously, we got to get these before the games even come underway, I would think. But at the same time, like just on the experience gap alone, I don't think you could say Arrow shouldn't start over a good chunk of the talent in Academy right now. And he has recently, even if they dropped him down. So, yeah, for me, that was pretty hot.
Instinct needs more time. I think that Instinct has a really nice skill set, but needs to develop still. Mostly in lane, but yeah.
Oh, that's fair. All right, moving along into our next hot take. Pull this one up. This one is from Desrex. Vital, top 3 top laner. Team fight potential, just needs competitive experience. And to elaborate a little bit more on this, because we couldn't put the whole quote, just needs a competitive experience to develop his overall team play. Peppers?
Tenacity, Jenkins, Bradley, Surdy, and the list goes on.
So you're going for like a 4 on the pepper scale?
Yeah, like the team
as
fight
many
potential,
top laners are ahead of him in the standings.
I respect the team fight potential and the need for a competitive experience. I think it's going to help Vital greatly, but I don't think he gets top 3 by the end of the split. So yeah, right. I'll go with a 4.
Go with a 4.
I'm actually going 2 because I think Desrex has so many, like he's thrown in a lot of like herbs and things that have made this a little milder here. You know, team fight potential, needs competitive experience.
Fair.
If he just says top 3, that's spicy. But he gave a lot of good reasons, so I think it mellowed it out.
Okay.
All right, so we'll put that at a 3. We'll split the difference here. We'll put that at a 3. I definitely do agree, Cubby, that there is a lot of fantastic potential with the top laners that we do have in Academy. So maybe the fact that there is that bold claim of top 3 is a little much, but I don't think that you can deny that there is that potential just with needing that room to develop and grow and learn on the things that you can't really get without being on a team environment.
I didn't even mention Darshan in the 4. That'd be a 5th. I could keep on going. I mean, those are 5 top laners that I was arguing could start in LCS and be upgrades over some of the top laners that we have in LCS. So
and this isn't like, it's not even a knock at Vital, right? Like, it's just that there's so much talent in Academy, especially in the top lane. So I think that's like, that is fair.
Kind of like there's so much great talent specifically for top lanes right now. It's hard to kind of make your way into it.
I think the LCS top lane pool is weak outside of top 4. I think Dokla, I mean, the fact that Dokla, I feel like is a top 5 top laner in the league and will be, that's a problem. I mean, Dokla did just destroy Academy last split, but I do feel like there are certain teams that could grab Academy top laners and it would be upgrades. I don't think it's like all 5 should start in Academy. I think that for some teams, there are legitimately 5 replacements that I feel like would be better. And I think if you look at the track history of Academy that we've had, it's a pretty reasonable point to argue that. So
why isn't that the hot take that you submitted here?
Like, I had a better one that is a 1 on the Scoville meter because it is true.
Oh my goodness! But hold on a second. If that does happen, if we do have that, I'll get to it in a minute because we have Cubbies. Oh my goodness!
Cubby, I don't think you understood the assignment of hot takes.
People will feel like this is a hot take. I promise you. I just feel like it's fact.
Okay. Okay, this matchup, we'll say it out loud for those who are just listening. The matchup features the 2 best mid laners in Academy, so that is going to be Takeover and Pretty. And okay, I don't think it's necessarily that spicy. Pyro, what about you? I don't think Cubby gets to rate this one.
I don't think it's that spicy either. I mean, I think you could argue it. It's like, I don't know if it's necessarily true, but it's definitely potentially true. I think that's 2.
I'm surprised more people are aligned. I feel like, Copy, Harry, maybe some Jimmy fans would argue that, those could be considered top 2, but I do feel like it's pretty insane.
Caster last split a year ago, he was coming up from the PCS, like
pretty damn
good. Very, very good. But I do think that these 2, they have been absolute workhorses for the team, and that last game showed it.
Okay.
Especially on the Pretty side.
The 2 peppers. Maybe it's one of those ones too where the talent as opposed to the fans are a little bit misaligned on it, because I did say Pretty was my person to watch heading into Academy, and I feel like I was the only person that got pushback on my player to watch, because a couple people were like, oh no, maybe someone other than Pretty, maybe watch somebody else. But I do think that what we've seen from Takeover and Pretty has been promising.
Yeah, I think that both are playing really good. I think that Pretty, I would love to see a team with Pretty and Kenvi on it, because I think that Kenvi and Chad play kind of similarly. So I feel like Pretty would actually be a really good fit for that. And I think for Takeover, on certain champions, this guy is a 1v9 player. And I'm just looking for him to continue to expand that champion pool. So, yeah.
Okay. On to our last and final hot take. This one is from none other than Kelsey. Had to get her thoughts on the matter too. The biggest injuries in Academy have the most LCS potential.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a 5 out of 5, and I know Kelsey, and I have my reasons for it.
All right, Cubby, also 5. Where are you on this Scoville scale?
I'm at a 3. Like, there's some good players that we have that are just like filthy enters. Like, Surdy, definitely one of them.
All right,
all of EG likes to int. I don't like, yeah. Let's see, who else? Copy had some crazy int plays.
Well, you're going over people that int. We're going to declare this a 4. We're going to split this a difference as you get your mental list of everybody who ints here.
We just had an entire clip reel of people that were inting Flash alone. But I mean, I think that there is a lot of truth to that. Like, if you look at what, like, I'm going to use COG as an example, because they had 5 players that were in Academy last year, I should say, starting in LCS. All 5 of those players in Academy were always trying to make plays. And when I look at them in the LCS stage, none of them are passengers in the game. They're all actually trying to, like, do proactive things on the map and make plays. And if you want to win at the highest level, I really feel like the teams that do that can, like, constantly throughout a season are the ones that end up winning. Look at EG. Jojo Pyun into, like, absolutely just filthy on the LCS stage. Same with Danny and Lane. Like, these guys were monster enters, and they're really good players. Like, you have to go for things to figure out if it works or not. So
exactly,
I'm in.
The coin flip.
Yeah.
And that's why this is 100% true. For the record, I didn't give it 5 because I disagreed with Kelsey.
Yeah.
It was definitely because it's so true in the weirdest way.
So it's a true hot take is what I'm understanding.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, Some good stuff. I'm liking the takes that we got out. I feel like as well we got to hear from everybody. We got to have some good discussions. I'm feeling good about what we discussed, and Champ Select is around the corner. Maybe expand on a couple of the ideas that we got to talk about right here and now. But now I'll catch up with you two later.
Alrighty then. Thank you very much, Sierra. We are into picks and bans. It's a little bare bones, but we'll get everything up. We're getting the pieces filled in. Lee Sin's off the table again. Yeah, Cubby, how's your mouth after that one? I'm needing a little bit of cooldown time.
I don't know. I feel like I ate a couple too many caps instead of peppers. But, you know, that last one, we got to wrap up on a high note. I'm actually really surprised that everyone just agreed that the two best mid-laners in Academy are playing in this matchup. I feel like that's a more contested point. Yeah, I feel like that's a more debated point. But I'm glad that you guys are aligned, and I think that, especially with Pretty, saw some really good things out of that game one, and we'll see if any of the strategy changes up here, as at least on the sides that we have synced up.
Same sides.
Yes, same
sides. So no Lee Sin for Hyper, no surprises there. We do see the Gangplank Ezreal banned away by Immortals Progressive Academy. Now we have also, once again, I don't think this has changed from last time around, the Kalista ban and the Fiora. But you know, if the Yone doesn't come through here, maybe, just maybe, Rafa's hot take comes through. Oh, it's a Jax ban. Wow. Let's go.
And so, again, we have every single marksman left on the board, pretty much, except for Ezreal. I'm expecting the Zeri again, but we'll see if TSM maybe switches things up. They did run this Senna comp last time. I was maybe thinking of the Lucian. You can use that to bully the Zeri and lane a bit more. Will not be the case, though. Going to be the Senna. I expect the Wukong here. I really think Senna Wukong is a powerful flex to have throughout the draft. Yes. So I want to see the Wukong here for the side of TSM.
Yeah, and also, you know, not letting Chad have that champion as well, I think is going to be very important. Hyper looked fairly good on it. So far, the draft has not changed from the last time. We get the same pickup.
Shouldn't change here either.
Back over to Immortals, yeah.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see Viego Zeri. I'd be surprised if we saw anything different on the side of Immortals. I think where TSM might be able to swap things up, though, is the mid lane, and also if they take mid or not here. And I'm curious if they end up giving Takeover something that he feels like he can maybe go off on. It was the Corki. That was the option last time. And curiously enough, actually on the side of Immortals, they did switch up the draft. Keep in mind, it was the Zoe that was picked in the second phase. It was the Viego that we saw in the first. So securing Zoe, reaching in the Chad's champion pool a little bit more, maybe that swaps things up here for the side of TSM. Not be the case.
Not in this rotation, though. I mean, Takeover's once again going for the Corki, so that hasn't prompted a change in the TSM Academy side. We'll see if it does change in the bans, if they decide to try and hammer away at Chad's champion pool, now that the preference has been shown to blind mid for Pretty. So yeah, TSM have some time on the board here, Cubby.
I think Viego off the table is the right move.
Yeah.
And we'll see if TSM don't want to deal with that. I'm also expecting Tahm Kench to still be removed. Even if I'm not super in love with that combo into Zeri. I feel like Zeri deals pretty well with Tahm Kench. I would not be surprised if we see Shenyi again go for something like the Maokai. One of the flexes that I want to see, though, is, again, maybe putting that Wukong bot, maybe opening up the champ pool for Hyper, maybe giving Hyper a counter pick. Senna Wukong is a killing lane. It was really popular even in Academy. I know Golden Guardians, Prismal, really responsible for popularizing Wukong at this time last year in the bot lane with Senna. And I want to see if that's something that TSM maybe feels comfortable, as at the moment, they're leaving up that Viego. So maybe that, I mean, that tells me that they're more comfortable flexing this Wukong and maybe want to have a counter pick in the Viego.
Possible. And also with the Camille ban as well again. So that'll be a little bit different this time around. I think, how are you feeling about the Singed once again, Cubby? I mean, we talked about it a lot last time.
I would still love that.
Support.
Yeah,
I think that would be still good there?
I think so, but I think at the moment, TSM should just take Ornn. Just take some engage. I know that Zeri is really good into Ornn, but it is one way to deal with Zoe. And at least patch up some of what you're missing. And I think blinding a top lane, it does preserve that Wukong flex. Okay, not going to be the case. It will instead be the Maokai, so just opting into that bot lane matchup. As TSM didn't go their way last time, but want to see if they can run it back, and Shenyi can even up the score, as he will be on the Maokai again.
Yeah, so it seems that the read that TSM Academy have right now is that it wasn't necessarily the comp that was trouble for them, it was just the execution, which I think you could argue, you know, there was a lot of mispositioning, a lot of misplays, but not taking anything away from Immortals Academy here. They're going to have the same options, but they will flex it up at the last second, and it looks like that's going to be the Kazakhs lock-in for Chad. It's another champion that does play a lot like that signature Rengar.
Okay, there is a Kazakhs build that's going around right now that I'm really curious if we see. It is Sunfire Aegis, Black Cleaver, and you go W Max and Poke on the Kazakhs. It is out there, but it's actually pretty effective. And I'm curious if that ends up being the call, as they are hovering the Singed as some fun. And Jace. Okay, so a real Poke identity being formed here by the side of Immortals. What I love about Kazakhs and these Poke comps, so much disengage. That W evolve first, it's like an 80% slow when it connects. That's massive. So IMT have a lot of ways to kite out the side of TSM, slow down these fights, make sure that Poke connects so they can space out to get their squishy champions some more room. Whereas TSM, it's all about the dog pile, and they're going to look to further commit to that, as Wukong will not be flexed up top into that matchup where we have historically seen him do well in the Jace. Instead, it will be Soul opting for that Tryndamere, and they try and run Jace down in that side lane.
Absolutely. All right, so TSM going to just try to make those big plays, make the big jumps on, but against Poke comp, as long as Immortals are able to keep the distance, that shouldn't be too much trouble for them. Up one game here to try and get that 2-0 result on the day. So the draft seems very, very similar up until the last few moments, Cubby. Who are you favoring?
I've got to go with IMT again, just given what we saw from them last game. But I think at least for the side of TSM, they do have a backdoor win con with Tryndamere in the side lane. If Tryndamere gets going, it is something where TSM, if they are able to space the map, if they are able to survive the Poke, the onslaught of Immortals, it could be good for them. But, God, again, Immortals, the amount of space that Kazakhs can buy with W Evolve is so slept on, so underrated. And I really want to see if Immortals can play that out properly, because if you overcommit into Kazakhs, you get hit by that Evolve W. It is a massive slow. It stops you in your tracks, and it just means that the engages that Hyper and Shenny take, they have to be cleaner than what they were in the last game, where TSM obviously struggled to put things together and struggled to get into that game.
We'll see if Chad's Kazakhs can give TSM more headaches in that 2-0 coming out here for Immortals, or will TSM fire back to get a win on the board? We're going into game. Let's do it.
I like that. Clean and simple.
Yeah.
Go into the game.
Yeah, ramp it up at the end. Let's go.
Full sense.
Yeah, so Kazakhs. It is maybe it's a little emblematic since we had a little bit of time. It wasn't a bug splat, but TSM are going to be hoping to splat some bugs this time around. Every time I get a Kazakhs, I got to do the dad joke, Cubby.
I mean, I could match it, but it'd just be straight up mean.
Oh?
Yeah.
Now I'm intrigued.
It wasn't a bug splat, it was a PC crash. And unfortunately, TSM crashed game 1. But we'll see if they can bring it back in game 2.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit more about how this Kazakhs works with the W Evolve and the Poke build, because this is the first time I've seen it, so I'm really interested.
So I mean, I think it's an interesting pick just because it's something that Chad is specialized in. Again, Chad, about this point in time, like he is only 1 year into his competitive journey. He started on 100 Next. He was a solo queue player. Kazakhs was a champion that he was much more comfortable on compared to some of the other champs that he was playing initially. And so I think it's always been something that he has leaned towards. And the Poke, it is really hard to get off the ground early, but once you get that Evolve W, things get a lot better. It's not going to clear quite as fast as the Wukong at about matches, but it's all about just buying space for your team. And we can see now, Arrow, Joey, I love this from them. They're really setting TSM's bot lane behind, forcing them into some trades that they would rather not have, but at least this time for TSM, they do get access to the bot wave.
Absolutely. I think last time around it was just so frustrating for TSM's bot to just try and deal with the constant push spread. But do keep in mind that Hyper showed up early and actually punished Arrow and Joey for their hubris. So that repeat could happen again, even though it then started to go very IMT favored after the fact. Checking up at the top side, good old Jace versus Tryndamere matchup. This is always a fun one.
Hey, see Jace has to go for the phase rush. It's really nice E from Arrow to sidestep. On.
Wow. Instinct just taking so much damage as they look to zone him off.
Was forced to heal through the Ignite, so a little bit of value lost, but at least bought the space Instinct needed to escape that. As we do have Soul. Going to be tracking this Kazakhs again. Kazakhs going to be slow to clear early, but Kazakhs does ramp up as this game goes on. I am curious to see what build Chad ends up going for. It could easily be the Gorge Drinker, but I am curious to see if it is that Aegis Black Cleaver. I have seen that sneaking up in solo queue. I played it myself when I was playing up till D3 in the offseason. I had to go to support to hit D1, but it was a fun one. Kazakhstan, it's always been a favorite of mine.
Yeah, you know, if you're having fun what you're doing, then it's always worth it, right? Vital takes a little bit more damage. Hyper's here. Now, given the fact that Chad's going to need some ramp-up time, I don't think IMT are going to be able to rely on the same level of jungle pressure they had in Game 1.
And that show from Hyper, because he didn't commit the flash, look at that. He's going to lose the crabs, and now Chad, he's going to rotate back to try and take his blue, but because TSM, Soul have priority, it could be tricky. Pretty could move, but Takeover actually has this wave crashing. Some good wave control coming out of the TSM Soul Laners here to maybe help Hyper get up in the face of Chad, get an invade off. Instead, will not be the case. Chad will be spotted.
Yep, instant flash from Takeover. A lot of respect being shown there as he tries to stay in lane here. Hyper actually knows Chad's here and gets the pot shot.
Cues him over the wall.
Just bops him. I love it.
Now that's a bug splat. The Wukong Q into the bug. I like that.
Very true. My goodness. I almost want that in a replay. Just like full 3-second lead up and then boop.
Small terrain. You know, that's always fun. You can flay people past that point of terrain. That's always a good time when that happens.
Oh man, I want Thresh back in the meta.
Yeah, at the moment, Shenyi, he does have access to teleport. That might be one of the adaptations that TSM made running this lane. As Shenyi now, if he does get harassed though, can TP back and have a bit of an itemization advantage.
It's a cool bit of tech.
Yeah, it's something that's been very popular, especially in LCK. But we can see Shenyi and TSM still having a lot of trouble in this bot lane as Arrow just playing this out so well on this area, able to step up with no punishment coming out of the TSM bot lane.
Yeah, I think they're going to need Hyper to come help at some point, but at the moment it's just a whole lot of haranguing down there. Arrow keeping Instinct and Shenyi from really getting a whole lot done. However, the farm difference isn't quite as bad this time around. Shenyi will pick up that one, so they'll end up 5 CS down. Last time it was brutal.
And at least Shenyi can TP back, too. So that means that this small wave isn't dropped, and Hyper does feel safe to go for that crab. Do want to keep us updated on the Kazakhs. It will not be that Sunfire build that I was teasing. That is the option. It will instead probably be the Gorge Drinker. Would not be surprised if we do see a Stride Breaker as Chad actually pulling the wave for pretty Hyper showing.
So Trouble Bubble going to land, and it's pretty free right there. As Chad going to pick up first blood with a little help from Pretty. What a nice 1-2 punch.
Oh, and Hyper, I don't think he had the clone up to eat the bubble. So going in there.
Nope.
Being answered immediately by Pretty. Love the proactive flash from both him and Chad. We talked about how Immortals, a lot of their game plan, a lot of their early success in the season has come from Pretty and Chad being proactive together. Great example of Pretty being freed up by Chad there. I should say, Chad taking advantage of Hyper going a little bit too deep.
Yeah, that was something. Even got the flash out of Hyper too. I mean, that's gonna make things a little hard, especially if the bot lane was hoping to get a little bit more back for themselves. So yeah, they don't really have much they can do here. Silver lining though, Takeover has been getting quite a lot of farming going on that mid side compared to even Pretty, who does have that assist at the very least. But I think that is small silver linings for the time being, as we see Shenyi once again getting found out by Arrow. You had the Yuumi roam as well. Joey went up to the mid lane to help support Pretty for a little while.
Honestly, the big silver lining here for TSM, look at that top side. Vital just forced back, doesn't have the TP to respond, and Soul's going to crash a big wave, already up a lot of CS. So this is, I mean, a really good sign for TSM. Talked a lot about highlighting Vital in the last game, but of course Soul, our other rookie top laner that we have in this series. And, you know, for Soul, talking with him before the series, of course, the landing academy for these guys, it's such a big deal. Soul did it so quickly, too. Really playing one split up Proving Grounds, then moving on up. Well-deserved, but he's not done. You know, obviously his goal is Vital said he wanted to be a top player. Soul as well wants to be an LCS prospect moving into the next split. And honestly, so far, he said competition's tougher, but scrims are better, and that means I improve faster. So we'll see if TSM can improve faster in this series. Of course, they do need to pick up the second game. And we'll see if they are able to really contest when it comes to having packaged up. I feel like that's when TSM is going to make their first move, having access to that quirky package.
Yeah, Takeover didn't get really much of a chance to shine last time around. I know we really talked them up at the start of this series, and for good reason. But we want to see a little bit more out of them this time around and be able to do more with that package. We saw it earlier in the day, how impactful it can be when you have that timed right around these objective fights, especially the Dragon. So keep an eye on that one for sure when the delivery is going to be attempted. Arrow and Joey, once again, putting some more harassment onto Shenyi as they look to crash yet another wave. They haven't gotten nearly as much this time. It's 8 minutes in, and they've yet to secure a plate, which, hey, we saw more last time. Come on. Pick up the pace of it.
That lane just feels so brutal, though, because, again, Maokai, like, whenever you approach, you're eating a W slow from Zeri, a Q slow from the Yuumi. It just feels really brutal. And meanwhile, in the top side, honestly, credit to Soul. Done a really nice job managing this wave. So Jace is forced to overextend just to get CS. And whenever he steps up, Soul can just trade for free, get his health back. We see it again. Wave got cleared out, but Soul trading really nicely.
Yeah, Soul doing a fantastic job in this one. He stayed really long before he went for his initial back anyhow, and was able to time it well around Vital. Of course, Vital with the teleport had already used it. Soul doesn't have it. He's gone for full combat sums anyways. Meanwhile, Chad will be able to secure up this Herald. Ooh, he stays to the last second there. He actually didn't pick up the eye.
Shenny's
he walks
dead,
out of that. Shenny is going to die down bottom at the very least, so IMT can be pretty happy about that. They cut the tree down to size, and Soul very low, but does have the undying rage, and he's got one. Won't be able to find Pretty on the back half, but his team will cover him. And I mean, I don't think the Rift Herald was taken there. So despite Chad securing it, they don't secure it.
Big win for TSM, at least on the top side. Obviously, Shenny going down, it's really tough because Arrow's going to get so many plates, but at least Soul able to utilize some of that priority he has from the laning phase that he's played out so nicely to make a proactive play on the map for his team. Is now Hyper. Going to get tagged up a little bit here by Pretty, but TSM at least showing some fight in this one, Pyro.
Yeah, they are. I think really proactive plays, really denying some pressure for them. Let's take a look back at that play down bottom, though, while we were watching what happened at Rift Herald.
I mean, this is another wave that Shenny just cannot be at. There's no vision. You have your entire team rotating to be on Rift Herald. I think that he was making the educated guess that Arrow and Joey were rotating up, but they were not.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think he should have flashed there.
Yeah, and that's going to be a bummer for Shenny. This Maokai, it's been one tough game and one where he's already been set behind. But we will see if he can bounce back. Shenny, of course, a big person to handle the engages for this team. And Maokai, definitely someone that you can go in with and make sure that the fights are getting started on a good note for the rest of the squad.
Absolutely. I think Soul claiming a kill for himself there also feels pretty good. Being able to play around Tryndamere and the timer that you have on it, it's such an oppressively long one. And Chad gets the leap out before the root connects. He's safe. Yeah, like Tryndamere is just one of those champions that you can get so much value out of the timing you're invulnerable. I mean, invulnerability windows are they're pretty busted in just about every game I think that I've ever played, but Tryndamere's is oof.
Curious what happens with his dragon as Chad did just jump out, but he's popped the ult. He's going to try and contest it.
Fight gets it. That's nice. He walks away. You even see it twice on the screen. That's how good that smite was.
Looking fancy.
Here comes the 1v1. Vital and Soul with the ultimate. Soul's holding. Oh, the Senna. Ult from downtown. Vital's going to think twice about continuing to push.
Takeover, though, has the package. I think Vital's doomed.
Yeah, Vital's very doomed at this point. He should know. He gets the knockback. Tries to get...
Oh, no!
He makes it a 1-for-1!
Oh, Soul, that ultimate's up. He didn't feel like the damage could come through, but Vital, he gets a gift. As Takeover will take a plate, but it's being responded to in mid, and Immortals. They're the ones coming out ahead. Again, they pick up the Dragon. That play's traded evenly top. They're getting more plates across the map. We get to take a second look as Vital does a nice job of just making sure that Tryndamere gets booped away here. Does get tagged by the Senna ult, but not enough. And then Soul just tries to greet the ultimate and ends up being too greedy. Oh, we get cinematic. Cute. Look at Takeover.
Fantastic. the one problem with Tryndamere ultimate is you need to remember to press it.
Yeah. Auto Q there a little bit too much as Tryndamere falls on his own sword. Feel like that's appropriate given the fact that Soul went down without casting that ult. And we're back to live, and Pretty's in trouble.
Oh, burns a flash.
That's the real one.
Too. They get the slowdown on Instinct. Hyper was looking for a zone around the side. That's a nice zoning bubble. So a little bit of a dangerous move and a bit greedy, but he does walk away with a blue buff at least.
Yeah, that bubble looks silly. I thought it was pretty smart though. If Hyper's wrapping around, that does save him. As Hyper not going to be able to find Pretty there, and it will be Immortals walking out. Small win. And again, the game plan for Immortals, you have the Seri, you have the Zoe, you have the Jace, you have incredible poke against a low-range team. The fact they are ahead now, it's going to be really tough for TSM to really muster the damage together to deal with them, as I feel like Zoe Jace outpokes Corki between that combo. And really, the saving grace for TSM at this point, Pyra, it's got to be Soul in the top lane.
I agree with you. I mean, yeah, he kind of goofed a little bit there, and let's see if he's going to get the outplay this time around, because that's a lot of damage by Vital. Soul has not popped the ultimate. There it goes. He has to, and he forces the flash out. Going to walk away from this one, but unfortunately, he can't continue to contest. It was just so much burst from Vital. So we were just talking about how that was the saving grace. That was big window, but he does just get out-traded by Vital, even though he gets a summoner out.
I think that Vital burned the flash too, respecting, because they knew that Hyper was on the top side. It's a very dark top side for Immortals. So while that flash might have looked a little bit too cautious, if Hyper's there, I feel like that is the right move. And Hyper wasn't there, but again, Vital showing that, you know, as a rookie, he's thinking about more than just his lane matchup, but he's thinking about the map. I feel like that's really important. So good stuff. As now Chad lying in wait, so Vital can take a few plates for himself. That's 2 before we hit the 14-minute mark. And Immortals,
yeah, nicely done. This
has been huge for Immortals. I know they had a couple tough games against the 2 top teams that we have in the league this past week, but Immortals, their early games have been struggling. They've been down 1,800 gold at 15. That is the worst that we have in Academy. The fact that they're up gold approaching 15 minutes, not just in this game, but in both, especially with scaling comps, is huge. Is now Vital. He's got 2 levels on Soul. That's Shenyi.
Yeah, he gets jumped on. That was Shenyi there to try and lock him up here. As the rest of the TSM Cavalry have arrived, I think they might leave Vital for dead at this point and try to get a fight off the back because they do find Instinct. That's going to be pretty there with Joey in the mid lane. Down goes Vital from the distance. Chad still in this, but you can only stay invisible for so long as Takeover lines up the big rocket.
Well, Chad and Vital, a little bit too deep, a little bit too split. The big win, though, for Immortals, while they do drop 2 members, while they will drop that Rift Herald arrow, still getting so many resources on this bot side, he has pushed it all the way to the inner turret and is even able to stick around for a bit more. Instead, start the hunt for some jungle camps as Immortals. That's a bit of a mistake. A little bit of them going too deep. This is something that we pretty commonly saw from the squad in spring, as they were actually really good at early games, but oftentimes through their leads from being a little bit over-aggressive. I think we saw that a little bit there, as I was very aggressive in the top side, and they end up paying for it.
Yeah, they do. All right, there we go. This time Hyper's got the clone. That only works once with the bubble into the burst, and TSM, their dual lane, will be able to finish off the tower up top, so we do have 1-1 in towers, even with the first brick going down bot in favor of Immortals. So, 15.5 minutes on the clock, Cubby, and we do have a gold lead still here for IMT, but it's not nearly as bad for TSM as we saw last time. And let's see that play again. Oof.
I think it's just good timing from Shenyi. Vital was not expecting to see him there. And then Immortals get a little bit split here. They're like, do we fully commit to Soul? Can we get to him? We cannot. And then Chad going in there. You know what? Just trying to show off some team synergy with the fellow rookie that he has on the roster.
What was that, what was that hot take about some of the dirtiest entries having the most LCS potential?
This is true. Chad taking that very, very seriously. Love to see how driven he is to make it to the next level with that one.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. You know, like, I don't know if that was meant to be advice, but, you know, go off.
Well, to be fair to Chad, that was a mistake, but he's going to go off, take this second dragon. Keep in mind, he stole the first one.
Yeah, that's good. They have a stack going here.
Yeah.
And we have a Cloud Rift this time around. Good Sleepy Trouble Bubble does land. Oh! Instinct flashing and healing at the same time. You know it's serious when he presses both his buttons at the same moment.
And, I mean, this is the danger of a poke comp getting online. Let's look at the gold lead that IMT has. If they are able to group and siege these turrets, TSM, it's really tough for them to find answers, especially if Immortals does their due diligence. It takes out some of the wards on the back half, so they can't get TP'd on. I think that's going to be the big option for TSM. It's going to be Hyper, Shenyi trying to find some really good engage angles. And they have to make sure they're clean, because if they are not, and if Immortals are allowed to just stall out the game and siege these turrets, that's where their comp is very strong. And again, Chad on this Kha'Zix, the 80% slow on the Empowered W. Cannot emphasize how brutal that feels. Is Vital. Sees Hyper and Instinct. Will miss Shenyi. And Vital paying some respect. Good to see.
Yeah. I'm going to get the Rift Herald drop so they can finish this tower off. Probably turn this into another charge unless Arrow and Chad are coming down to the bottom side. I think they'll have to realize that with the other team members, Mia, even with the ward coverage they have now, they see this out. They can try and turn and flank flankers here. Finding Chad, returning with Hyper onto that one. He goes back towards Arrow, but with the second cast on the Cyclone,
Yumi's
not
got
enough
him
to take down Chad. That is going to be Joey with the clutch save.
Nice rotation from IMT, and a good attempt from TSM. Those are the angles they want to look for. Utilizing Fog, trying to create positive number situations. I think that's the right idea, but unfortunately, Chad able to sneak out with the Yoomster, helping him out. As that reset for Immortals now, they get to be back on the map, decently even footing, and Soul's going to take a Paddle Star.
Yeah, and then some. Shock Blast
Oh,
off
wow.
the back of it. Doesn't need the ultimate, but he is zoned out. I do like that TSM have been able to, through pushing a couple of quick towers like there, got the gold right back to even. However, I do think IMT are looking for this mid turret and probably that gold back in the game. You got to be careful. Pretty's hitting that point where he stings.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Hyper a little zoned out. Final chapter means nobody can contest here. And now Hyper's not really able to do much to try and save this turret, but the wave does disappear. Takeover's been doing a pretty good job of clearing.
But again, you can just see the power of the siege from Immortals, the poke they have. There's no way for TSM to deal with it, especially if they're also down. I love the fact that Immortals looked for the mid-outer on that window. The play failed on the bot side. Immortals says, hey, they don't have tools. We can just group up. Our siege is so goddamn strong. And did exactly just that. Mid-outer for free. Immortals adds a little bit more gold in their pocket. Get control back of the map and make a play when the big spells for TSM are down. Love to see that from our Academy squad. Really good understanding of what's going on in this game.
Absolutely. I think Immortals are definitely eyeballing that 2-0, and we talked about a bounce back week after last time around, and if they could get it, it would be a huge boost to them on the Super Week to kick things off. And I think for TSM's side, they are going to try to find more engages, try to find openings, but as long as IMT can keep them stiff-armed, I think they're looking pretty good for this game.
We did tease Soul as the saving grace inside lanes, and we do see Soul trying to stretch out the map here. It's going to be a 4-1 look for TSM. Takeover does have the option to farm the other side wave if he so chooses. And Takeover, the other benefactor of TSM skirmishes, is it is an even gold game. And Takeover is 1 or 2 rockets away from being at that big Corki spike, as there's the Miramana. Just evolved in his inventory. So now TSM, they've at least gotten to the 20-minute mark on a much more even footing, and it is very difficult for IMT to approach these objectives if Takeover has package. So, for TSM, package is huge. We've talked so much about Hyper, Shenny, finding these engage angles, trying to take down the poke of IMT. Corki package is a very nice, easy way to make sure that you can create angles and start engages and have an absurdly powerful engage range and damage that package packs. Let's see if he can put it together. Yeah.
Definitely looking for Takeover to be able to make those plays for sure. Okay.
There's the poke.
And you got Chad, Arrow, and Joey there, and you can't really push away from this one. You're going to keep Vital on that side lane to keep the wave held at bay. And meanwhile, Pretty just takes the top outer completely free and is going to be able to back away after that one. And it's a nice timing window to work with because there's no dragon on the map just yet for another 30 seconds. The TSM have been taking a lot of time to set up map control here, but they have been losing a little on the side lanes and not showing much else for it. This is going to be the moment of if it's worth.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised that Soul is hiding in the brush here and maybe not fixing a couple more waves before the objective spawns. He would have to be grouped by now. And that he is. We will see if TSM can find any angles, any positive engages, as they do have the package. And this is when the poke for IMT starts to connect. So TSM, they're forced to find an engage or utilize the package in an intelligent manner. And frankly, IMT having 2 dragons, it's a Cloud Soul. They feel like they don't need to fight it. They don't need to face check the package. They're just going to stick to the lanes, stick to their guns, and that is artillery sieging. They're very good at it with this comp. They're not going to approach the dragon instead. They're going to try and take this mid-inner.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of damage on it right now, and might even be able to finish it before the rest of the cavalry can arrive. I think they're staying a little long, but they have a nice split here. Chad is probably in danger, but that's the turn up, and they do manage to just drop all their ultimates.
Look at Arrow.
But Chad manages to get out, and now Arrow is running wild, finding the damage on everyone. Paddle starts flying from the side. Arrow gets the shutdown on Takeover. Hyper drops as well.
Arrow!
They take the turrets. Arrow's not done yet. The triple kill! And he gets the quadrant taken away from him by Pretty, but that's still so darn good.
Can they win?
I think they're going to end it here, Cubby.
Oh my god, Arrow, again, that engage on the Chad. I thought it was decent, but Chad, he escapes. Nothing else was left in the tank for TSM. They just lack the damage at this point of the game. They need the poke to connect from Takeover, but it cannot, as Soul gives his life for the minion wave. That will make sure we stay on the Rift a bit longer, but man, Immortals, Arrow, what a team fight from him.
Absolutely, and his team backed him up every step of the way. Pretty sitting in the side, making sure he had those battle stars into there. We got to see that play again. It was so close to ending after the back of this.
And this is the right idea for TSM, right? Isolate members. Try and find picks. Try and utilize all the engage tools you have, especially when you have package up. But man, once Chad gets out, they just do not have anywhere close to enough damage. They blew everything on the Kazakhs. And once Chad walks out, look at Arrow. There's nothing stopping him.
Yeah, hop the long wall, and man, that's that thing that you can do on a
cleanse.
That is just so brutal. Cleanse, yeah, my goodness.
Wow.
Arrow's making another play for an LCS start.
Yeah, I mean, in another universe, you know, he's playing mid under tag BAP, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, he's 4-0 again. Did that just straight up buy him an Essence Reaver?
He already had it most of the way, but the fact that he's like halfway to an Infinity Edge too is pretty filthy on this area. As Hyper will be forced to clone out. And again, Immortals, the poke siege that they can set up with Chad. Look at how aggressively Chad can posture that W zone. TSM are such a low-range team composition outside the Senna, outside the Corki. Chad can buy so much space with his Kazakhs. And the slows just make it so easy for the rest of the comp to connect. I feel like it was a nice angle for the Kazakhs for Immortals. I like the read they had when they took it. And TSM just don't have the answers to deal with IMT.
At the moment, they need a little time. They need more damage. They need more items, but it's not getting a chance for it. And whoa, my goodness. That's a big old explosion as Instinct is wiped off the map. Vital being chased down by Sol and Shenny, and he might very well go down, but I don't think that's going to matter too much for IMT because they still managed to knock down another turret.
I like Shenyi tailing the Tryndamere. I feel like that's the right call. A good read on the win condition, but still Instinct's off the map. And IMT, they feel strong enough to just start up this Baron. They have complete control. Pretty can keep Hyper out of the pit. Arrow shreds this. I don't think TSM can even approach.
No, they can't. I mean, like, Shenny might be able to, like, get a little close, but he doesn't have a smite. Doesn't really matter. The Tryndamere is not going to be able to teleport because he didn't take it this game. And Joey's a little bit low, but that's okay. Hyper actually is moving in, so this is actually TSM's chance to peel them off. They took a lot of damage from the Baron.
Okay.
Nicely done.
All right, well done. From the side of TSM, Shenyi, I feel like finding that angle was enough. And we talked about Sol being the saving grace, stretching out the map. Him and Takeover have to be really big this game. It's going to be all about how much poke can TSM answer from the side of Immortals, and then what can Sol do in these side lanes as Sol, him and TSM finding the kill bot, Shenyi making a nice play, TPing to stall out that Baron. It got TSM some much needed gold in their pockets.
Yeah, Sol knocks down a tower, gets a kill. He can have some Navori quick blades as a treat. Nicely done, completes that item, and now it's TSM on Baron.
It feels like a snack, you know? Like that how that item looks, it looks like
PSA,
3 quick snacks.
Do not eat blades. That is bad for you.
It's
unless
like
you are a
razor
trained
cake,
circus
you know?
performer.
That's true.
Yeah, those items are fun.
Oh boy,
wait
no
a minute.
flash.
All right, jump in.
Goodbye.
And yeah, Instinct is just getting popped over and over again this game.
Oh man.
Chapter dodging. Now I feel like we're watching kind of the horror show. Instinct just has not been able to do much on this no farm Senna. And Shenyi is now getting chased down as well. He's a bit tankier, but not tanky enough. And even Chad's getting a kill in the picture as he might get interrupted, might get taken down at the back half. That's a lot of members of TSM to go in for the final effort. Hyper was there.
Vital
wasn't even with the team going to rejoin them because they just have more power in their punches. And Vital goes into the skies looking for Sol, who does have an ultimate, but it doesn't matter as he's zoned all the way back to Fountain. And this will be the finish of what IMT started about 6 minutes ago, Cubby.
It's been too easy for IMT this series. The poke comp's been really good for them. And 2 controlled 27-minute wins for Immortals to get them back on track after an 0-4 week 2 against the 2 top teams we have in the standings. Immortals looking good today.
Yeah, what a swing for them. Really fantastic victory here. And it did seem like TSM had more life in them this time around. They had openings. We kept talking up Sol on the side lanes, but it just wasn't enough, especially once Arrow, for the second game in a row on Zeri, absolutely popped off. And this team just knows how to play around him. I don't think he's going to get that champion. Most people banning it anyways, but clearly he showed up twice today.
Senna Malachi just wasn't able to answer it in the laning phase. Arrow got ahead, and Arrow, we were asking for him to step up after the last week. We were asking for IMT's side laners to play a bit better to give them more of a chance, asking for some more stability from Chad. I feel like we got a lot of our wishes today as Immortals look good in that 2-0, and we'll see if they can snowball that tomorrow as they have EGA and Dig A to wrap up the week. That is a week where Immortals, if I'm on that team, I'm looking to go 4-2, 5-1, 6-0 after this start. We'll see if they can make it happen.
Yeah, we'll hear some thoughts from them after this. We're going to a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Now the reflex are lucid, and I know that I'll be fine. I guess that is self-love. You think I'm going crazy, but I'm not missing you. I only miss the illusion you pretended to be. I'm not acting crazy, I just said we're through. Baby, you gave a lot. What about trust? What about all this time you looked in my eyes, babe? What about commitment? What about all the empty promises?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Verizon post-game interview. For this one, I'm really excited to be sitting down and talking to Vital, top lane for Immortals. I've been chasing this interview for weeks, I'm not going to lie. You're a really big question mark in terms of what we can expect from you in Academy, and I'm excited to get to know a little bit more about you.
Sounds good.
Good. So, first off, how has everything been with Academy and your experience on Mortals so far?
I would say, I guess it's like how I expected. My teammates are all really chill guys, and I love being in LA. It's just a nice breath of fresh air, I would say. The team is all good. The environment's great, I would say. It's really nice.
Awesome. And then, so you get to be in LA now, you get to play League. So what were you doing before joining Immortals?
I was doing college. I was pursuing comp sci, but the COVID pandemic hit, and online school was like really not fun, I would say. So, yeah, I just pursued League for a bit. I took a gap year, and it led me to here.
Okay. So then that was something when you took the gap year, you were trying to make it in League. So is that what I'm understanding?
Somewhat, yeah. I just wanted to pursue streaming first, but then I got the opportunity to pursue pro, which I went with, and it worked out.
Okay, so how did that opportunity come about as well? You getting onto Immortals, trying out. Is this something that you were planning on, hey, this is what I want to do, or is it just an opportunity that you couldn't really pass up?
Just a opportunity that I couldn't pass up. My friend got traded off of Immortals, and they were still doing trials, so I just asked if I can get a trial, and yeah, now I'm here.
Amazing. So what do you think it was during that trialing process that made you stand out from everyone else?
Probably the champ pool, I would say. I think most top laners right now don't play many exciting champs. I mean, some do, but it's a bit rare. And they just liked my champ pool and my communication during the trials, and just in general, they thought I was a good candidate.
Okay. And then this is a path that seems quite different from other people that we have in Academy that have been in collegiate, have been in amateur, have pursued this pipeline, and you're all of a sudden in Academy. Do you feel like not having that team-based experience has hindered you a little bit, or is it just something you've managed to push through and learn through quickly?
I would say it hasn't hindered me at all. I'm a fast learner, and the team being all good people makes it a lot easier as well. If the environment's good, I think anyone can adapt pretty fast.
Okay, and then for your future in Academy and beyond, what can we expect from you? What are your goals coming into the scene?
My goals, of course, it's LCS, and I want to win finals with my team. But I also want to just bring some new champs into the scene, I guess. Because a lot of people stick to normal meta stuff and don't stray from it too far, but I think there's a lot of stuff that can be played that no one wants to experiment with that I can bring out.
Okay. And then the fact is that you're just starting your journey now. There's still so much we don't know about you. So what do you want people out there watching to know about you as you head on this new path?
I would say mainly not just a Fiora one trick. I think it ties back into the last question you asked, but yeah, I can play a lot of stuff, and I want people to look out for that. And I also think I can grow really fast as a player, and yeah.
Okay, and before I let you go, any shout outs, any final words, anyone watching?
Shout out to my mom, and also all the fans in Twitch chat. The people that used to watch my stream are being really supportive. My mom is also really supportive, which I appreciate, and yeah, that's it. Also, shout out to my team, of course. They're all really amazing people, and they're all really hard workers as well.
So, well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. Have a great rest of your evening as well.
You too. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you. Now, time to head back to the desk.